Hello, guys. So, welcome, and we continue our advanced sales training from here. So, in the previous class, we talked about how that selling is a life skill and how that everybody is into selling at some point. At some point, you've just had to convince somebody to take a decision, to do something, to buy your idea, even if not necessarily your product, to buy your idea, to agree with you on something. You've influenced somebody to take an action for your own good. That was also for their own good. And that's what selling is. So even though in the real sense everybody is into selling, everybody is involved in selling, and selling is a life skill. Um, Everybody is a sales professional. So as much as everybody might be into selling, everybody's not a sales professional. So yes, like I said, we sell every day. We are into the business of, as long as you are alive, you would have to influence. There is no way, you cannot escape trying to influence somebody to make a decision. You would always, be in a state where you need to influence somebody, talk to somebody, get them to do something, which is selling, if it's not necessarily a product. But while everybody may be into selling, not everyone is a sales professional. And it's so important that we get this. That as much as everyone being into selling, everyone's a sales professional. It's just like everybody should be security conscious. But then not everybody is a security personnel per se. Not everybody, is working as a security officer, and a person that's working as a security officer would be more security conscious than just a regular person, even if everyone should be security conscious. So who is a sales professional? How do we describe who a sales professional is? Now, a sales professional is someone who is conscious that his or her job description is influencing people to make a decision. And now this looks like there's something special in this definition, Caleb. Why did you why did you have to beat around the bush to just come to this simple definition? Now, the thing is that if you might miss me if you don't pay details to the words I choose to use. So I did not say sales professional is one whose job description is influencing people to make a decision. No. So it's the consciousness that makes you a sales professional. So you're not a sales professional because it's your title or your job title at your place of work. You're actually a sales professional because you are conscious. So a sales professional is one who is conscious that his or her job description is influencing people to make a decision. So not so many people are conscious of it. And someone could be like conscious of what? Not conscious of their job title, but conscious of the actions, conscious of, it's a one thing to have a title and it's one thing to live out that title. And you get where I'm going shortly in this training, in this class in particular. So when you're conscious that your job is influencing people to make a decision, you would not just be expecting people who have made their decision to come to you. And that's one thing with unprofessional sales people. An unprofessional salesperson is always looking for people who have made their decision. They forget that their job is actually to influence people to make a decision. So they behave like people that are just order takers, people that should take orders. So a salesperson, your job is constantly in influencing people to buy. You have to understand is your work. Your work is not to your job is not to ask what do you want to buy. Your job is not to write down orders. Your job is to make them buy. And that's what makes a sales professional. And this is a lot. Just this, I've seen this play over time, even in my own in my own life while I was trying to handle sales for my businesses and then managing multiple businesses, seeing how their staffs respond to sales. You just see it, and it's not because how will I put it? It's not because it's just because they are not aware. Right, they have not been trained. It's not like maybe they're bad persons or anything like that. So a non-professional salesperson is only looking for people who have made their decisions. So hence they are not patient enough to turn the potential customer into an actual customer. They expect that the customer should already have all the foreknowledge of the product. For example, say someone's into printing, someone that is not yet trained to be a professional salesperson in that area would be expecting that every customer that comes in already should know the size they want and everything that they need. So when they come, they just ask questions. What size do you what size do you want? What color do you want? What is this, and that's good, but then not every audience falls into that category. All right, so every audience falls into that category, and that's why I place that under the false assumptions of a non-professional salesperson. So a non-professional salesperson has this or an unprofessional salesperson rather. So he believes that every inquirer should have knowledge about the product slash service they're inquiring about. So he or she doesn't want to do any work. He's not patient enough to turn the potential customer into an actual customer. We use the term potential customer because now this person has not made payment. So you have to be aware that your job as a sales professional is to get that person as a potential customer to become an actual customer, and see how you attend to them. And before we start talking about how you should attend to them, you have to be conscious of what your job description is. So some persons could just have that unprofessional sales attitude, which should be bad attitude for a sales professional. It might be good attitude for someone else, but then say I don't have any energy, don't stress me. If you don't know what you if you don't know what you want to do, get out of here. You're not ready to make sales, and that's the thing. And I think it's because they don't understand that there are different audience type and there is audience segmentation. So your job is to take, as a sales professional, is to move the audience up from one level to the other before you actually close the sale. So let me quickly run us through the different audience types. So we have the cold audience, we have the warm audience, and we have the hot audience in marketing. And the cold audience are people that they have not had any prior interaction with your business before then. Okay, these people are just encountering you for the first time. They want to buy. Maybe they are just knocking on your shop for the first time. If it's a physical on-site business you have, they are just walking in. They have not walked in before, so they are just walking in to your business, to your office. They need brand awareness, they need education. They might not tell you, it's not labeled on their head. Nobody comes in with a signpost, and then it's not like it. They usually come in with an ID, a tag, to determine what phase they are in their buying process, say, or in their journey. There is no special, there's no tag to say I'm a cold audience, I'm a warm audience, I'm a hot audience. And that's why it's unprofessional to assume that everybody's a hot audience. So it's only the hot audience that falls into the category where he or she is highly engaged. As you can see here, he or she is highly engaged. I'm trying to highlight that for my viewers so they can see that it's only hot audience that falls to that category where he or she is highly engaged and ready to buy. So they just need a final push. They have idea of what they want. They have product knowledge information. They have information about the product, about the industry, about the kind of paper they want to print with, about the kind of paper they want to buy, if at all, about the kind of material they want. If you're into some other kind of business, maybe shoemaking or something, they have the idea already of the texture they want, so they don't need any education. So they are not in the cold audience level. The cold audience needs brand awareness, needs education, but the hot audience doesn't. And the warm audience might need some engagements, they've had some engagement, they might have had some engagements, but they still need nurturing, and they just need that trust, to build trust in you and in your business before closing the sales finally. Now let's move on to this. I want to show you why it's a very big mistake to think that all of your audience is a hot audience. So the percentage of potential customers that falls under the hot audience category typically makes up a small portion of your overall audience, usually around 3 to 10%. So when you expect that all the people that should come to you and you're just treating everybody anyhow, behaving anyhow to everybody, because the person is not an hot audience, losing sales, you are losing more than 50% of the potential sales, more than 60%, more than 80% of your potential sales, because the number of sales you have, the number of hot audience you have in your target audience, according to statistics, this is not my data only, so you can make your research outside of this course. The percentage of customers that falls under the hot audience category makes up a small portion, just within 3 to 10%. There can be some might say cold audience is 60 to 70, some may say 70 to 80, but there's no argument about hot audience. 3 to 10 3 to 10%. So if you are used to not to mistreating clients because you feel and you're not aware that maybe just feel they don't fall into the hot audience category, and because you feel like anybody that doesn't fall into the hot audience category is not serious, you end up losing a lot of your sales than and the problem is that you will not know. That's why you are here, right? That's why you wrote for this course, so that you can know, and you are a wonderful person because you're choosing to get knowledge right now. So you cannot assume. Now you already know that only a small part is in your hot audience category. And what does that mean? So the hot audience, like you can see here, they are the ones ready to buy or take action. So the warm audience is usually interested but still considering, you know, still considering, should I buy, should I not buy? Like we saw here, they just have maybe trust building and just need nurturing. But majority of your audience are just discovering your brand. When you have an effective marketing going on, a lot of people coming to you with cold audience. So you have to understand that you don't talk to these people anyhow. You have to be patient with them. Alright, they need education. When they come in, you don't just ask them what you don't begin to ask them technical questions about your products. You have been selling this thing for a while, so you assume that everybody should know what you know. You think that it's now a life knowledge for everybody. I've worked with several persons, and it's just so amazing how business owners and service providers make certain assumptions. Say, but everybody should know this now. And I'm like, really? Is there a course in the universities? Is there a course in university, like, or even in secondary school, that they teach people this thing and make it compulsory for everybody to know? So how did you come up with that assumption that everybody should know this thing? For goodness sake, everybody shouldn't know it automatically. So when they ask questions, so instead of, the major thing you should ask a prospect is initially a warm audience or a cold audience, rather, is what do you want to do? The person tells you what do you want to get. The person tells you. Then of course, if it requires technical, more technical questions, so I'm able to properly understand what they want, don't push it to them in a very technical way that they will not understand. Don't assume that you understand all the the terms and the words you use in your industry. So when you want to speak, you simplify it to somebody as though you are your first assumption. So you don't carry the assumption of an unprofessional salesperson. You have to carry the assumption of a professional salesperson. Like I said, one false assumption of a non-professional salesperson is that the person automatically believes that every inquiry should have knowledge about the product or service. That's not professional, and it's false. So the professional salesperson would rather have the assumption that, because the cold audience makes up more of your target audience than the warm or hot audience. So a sales professional believes that a new lead coming in would most likely fall into, has a higher chance of falling into the cold audience, except the person proves otherwise. Alright, so you have to believe that the person doesn't have as much knowledge as you expect them to have, except they prove otherwise. So while you're trying to ask technical questions, you send pictures as example. Okay, so we have, instead of asking what kind of material do you want, ask, we have two kind of materials, this and this. Which one do you think suits you best for, which one works well for what you want to do? We have this size. You use the period to educate them. You guide them into making a buying decision. Stop asking them technical questions. So once you accept, they already, once you ask those questions, except they just go straight to the point. I tell you, okay, this is what I want, and they prove to you, not that they will tell you I know what I want to know, but from their responses they just prove to you that they already know, or that they are very certain of what they want, and then you just close the sale from there. Those ones are hot audience. It's not hard to close the sales. But once those people have those people reach out to you that are cold audience, as you begin to provide those knowledge to them, for most of them, not all of them might end up buying, that's the thing. But as you begin to provide that knowledge and educate them, it increases the trust that they have in you. They're just encountering you for the first time. They don't really know you. Don't assume that they will just trust you automatically. But as you begin to educate them, they don't have all the knowledge about your product to begin with. So you have to start educating them in the way you respond to them. You have to think differently when you answer them. You have to structure differently rather the questions you ask them, so that you can move them up the ladder. Don't assume that they are you and that you are them. Alright, they don't have the knowledge you have. That's what I mean by don't assume that they are you. And that's also important too. in every other sense. So don't assume that they are you just or that they may have the same personal traits that you do have. Just take out the time to teach them. The best assumption is to assume that they don't have the knowledge, all the required. They are not an audience, like I've already said over time. So you have to start teaching them and putting them through the process to assist them in getting the kind of results that you want them to get, to assist them in taking the kind of decision that you want them to take, rather. And before I go ahead, I just want to quickly define some terms. I know this should have been defined, but I just want to make sure that we understand these things. We're on the same page when I say a lead. A lead in marketing is a person or organization who has interacted with a brand, and has the potential to become a customer. And a target audience is a group of people who are most likely to be interested in the company's product or service. So not every person is in your target audience, and I'll keep giving this example try to discuss anyway. So it's just like trying to sell cat's food to somebody that just rears only dogs, that well they rear dogs, that has only that just has a pet dog, doesn't train doesn't train cats. And no matter how you try to convince this person, you just suffer. Except you are a very you choose to be manipulative. You are a manipulator. You just deliberately want to force the person to buy what he doesn't, he or she doesn't need. So your goal is to find out that this person should be interested, because the idea is that your product should be solving a problem. Your product should be a solution to people's needs. So you find out the people that fall into that category that need, those are your target audience, and then you reach out to them. You reach out to your target audience. Then who is a lead? A lead is somebody that has now indicated interest, all right, has interacted with you and has the potential to become a customer. The lead might not be, it's not a customer until they pay for that product, but the lead has to first of all indicate interest to be a lead. Then the lead from there can now move into being a customer when he or she finally pays for that product. So it's your duty. You have to constantly see yourself in a different light. You are not an order taker. All right, it's not just your job to take orders. As a sales professional, it's your job to move these persons, to close the sale, to move the person from being a lead. From just move somebody from just being in your target audience to being a lead. Then move them from lead to an actual customer. Let me recap that so you get it. It's your job as a sales professional to move somebody that's in your target audience to being a lead. All right, and then move them from being just a lead to being an actual customer, rather. So how do you do that? That's all we'll be discussing, but you just have to get your job description right as a sales professional before we go on further with that. So don't think that your job is just to take orders and say, what do you want? No. Your job is to make them make the order. Not to take the order. Your job is to make them make the order. Your job is to make them demand the order, not to take the order. So if you're not getting enough people ordering, you're not doing your job well. Alright, I know that hits hard, but mature people take responsibility, and throughout this course you begin to learn, and it's sweet when you know that the responsibility is on you and you learn what to do to make it work. Then you can just determine how much you earn. You can choose a skill. Once you just learn how this thing works, you've learned how it works, and it's progress from there. So it's beautiful when we know that the responsibility is on us. So if you're not getting more sales, who is responsible? The sales professional. Who is responsible? The business owner. The business owner too has to wear the identity of a sales professional, especially if it's just a startup entrepreneur. You're just starting out as a business owner. Even if it's a business manager in a large organization, everybody needs to put on that responsibility. You have to think like a sales professional. And what happens when you take sales professional? The way you respond to a lead becomes different. Even when you understand that it's not your responsibility to do so, you would ensure you will not just dismiss the person. You would ensure that you push them to the right person that would close them and convert them into a sale, because you're a sales professional and your job is to influence them to make a decision. In this case, to buy. That decision is to buy. Now, a sales professional job is to assist the prospect in making the right decision, and that's just what I want to say. So your job is to assist them in making the right decision. In most cases, like I said, they might not already know what they want. All right, they might not already know exactly what they want. It's just you that would have to educate them, train them, and teach them what they need to. When I say educate, train them, I don't mean take them on. You take them on a course like this right now. No, I mean that a lot of times it might be our job to just um it should be our job to educate them, which I've already said severally. But most times, you might never really know what's good for them. So you have to guide them through the buying decisions to let them know that, okay, this is what you should buy. It's just, a lead might come in thinking this is what they want, but during the process while you are trying to close them, you find out that this is not what they need, this is what they actually need. And that's who you should be as a sales professional. So your job is not just to, take the orders, like I've said. It's not just to close the sale or to manipulate them into getting something they don't want. You should be honest as a sales professional. Sales professionals are honest people. So your primary goal is not that you just want to get a sale. No, you actually want to, it's a win-win. You get the sale, you're happy, you've made some money, you've gained some commissions, and the clients should also be happy. Now they finally have what they want. So a sales professional thinking, win-win from both ends, both directions. So your job is not just to let me get this sale, let me get this sale. You would lose clients because once they come, they will not want to come again. You deceive them, you tricked them into something they didn't need. You get bad reputation, you get bad review, and that's why it's a bad practice. It's not a professional practice because over time it doesn't pay. It's just give that instant gratification, but then you've lost the clients long term. So it should be a win-win for both ends. So the sales professional job is to assist the prospects in making the right decision. I hope that's clear. So you guide them, making sure that what they are buying is right for them. Not because you are trying to, you are just desperate to get a sale, so you don't mind, you just want to get them. That's another extreme. Some persons know that their job is not to take orders, but they are not aware. They are not aware that their job is to assist the prospects in making the right decision. They think their own job is just to close the sale, influence them to buy, and that's where it ends. And that's why I'm adding it. So you know that your job doesn't just end with influencing them to buy, but you're assisting them in making the right decision that you believe is for them. And that's why your product or your service has to be solving a problem. Because people buy solutions, right? So there are three kinds of salespeople. I want to find out what category do you fall in. There is the order taker, whose job, whose primary motive in this life use the job role of he or she is just to take orders. What do you want to buy? Let me buy it for you. You don't know what you want to buy, then you are not my business. When you are ready, you come back. That's unprofessional. But you can choose where. I shouldn't be stating out. I just wanted to a personal reflection determine where you fall in. Do you fall into the order taker, do you fall into the hard sell operator? You're just a manipulator. A lot of people, I could give examples of these examples, but I just want this to go on. And how history has proven, history of selling and how the sales profession, the sales profession has emerged over time, has moved and grown over time. Some people just feel like the hard sell operator, their job is just to those kind of insurance people. Should I mention industries now? No, that would be wrong. The problem is not in the industry. The problem is just that some shows is the salesperson that have a problem, just manipulating you to do certain things. Did I by chance insist that? Yeah, I want to be careful with words now, because some salesperson in some industry could have a trait, and that's why it's important that everyone gets trained. So you know that there are different categories. As the hard sale operator who is just a manipulator. His primary goal is to get the sale, not concerned about whether it's a win-win on both his or her end or the customer's end. There's one that just wants to take orders, just wants to take orders, doesn't think or is not aware, is not conscious that it's his or her responsibility to actually convert the person to buy or to educate them or to be patient through the process. And sometimes why people won't be patient is because they are just scared. They feel like they don't have time to. It's like, oh, would this person buy? Would it be worth my time if I spend all this time? If I spend all this time rather educating this person, would it be worth it at the end? And that's the fears that a lot of sales professionals have, low key, that makes them not be patient, that makes them not be professional. But believe me, if that's your fear, if you will not be patient to convert them, then you've already lost the sale. Alright, and then no money for you. But you're just by being patient, why it might not be certain, but at least now you do have a chance. And the better your selling skill, the higher the chances. All right, so selling is predictable. It's a skill, it's a craft. You can master how to convince people to buy, and that's what we're already on. But you just have to understand the crux, the basics, the foundation. That while convincing them, you have to understand that you have to be aware that that thing is good for them, and help them see how it's good for them. In some cases, for some are already hot audiences, so they don't need your explanation. They just want to buy. They know what they want to buy. When those ones come, fine, but it shouldn't be your default thinking that everybody should come should be like that. You are losing more of your sales than you're making if you've been that way. And I hope this has been an amazing eye-opening class for you. We're just getting started. I'll be going forward from here. So from here, you have to make that resolve for yourself. You know, if you fall in any other category except a sales professional, and just say, I choose to be a professional salesperson. I choose to be a sales professional. I'm not an order taker anymore, not a manipulator. I'm not a hard sale operator. I am a sales professional. So you have that mindset. Your job is to influence people to make a buying decision. All right. So, per se, see you in the next class. Bye.